Hello, this is OverlordBou, and today I'll be covering the first Spanish battleship coming to WoWs, as well as the first battleship to have a burst fire feature, the Tier 9 Victoria. Victoria is the first Spanish battleship to enter WoWs, and oh man, is this ship spicy. We started with a burst fire Spanish destroyer, then came along the burst firing cruiser line, and now here comes the full circle with the burst firing 381mm guns on the battleship. As how this is supposed to work in real life, we don't ask those questions around here. We just like doing reviews. So, a little history lesson about the Victoria. Victoria represents a proposal for Spain to build 4 modern Vittorio class battleships as part of their attempts to rebuild the Spanish Navy following the Civil War. Now, this ultimately never happened due to Italy's involvement in World War II, as well as the limited Spanish industrial capacity and lack of funds. Victoria is going to be available in the armory for about 19,300 doubloons in the premium shop, or you can get it as a bundle. Also, you can gamble to get her via the mystery banner drop, which includes the Karl and the Anhalt. So, up to you in that regard. But how good she is, we'll see by the end of the video. So we're going to be covering the stats of this ship, and the first thing we're going to be talking about is the ship's hull. Now, you do get a 64,800 HP pull, which is the second worst among the Tier 9 battleships. Now, you do get a 32mm bow/stern with a 45mm deck with a 70mm side armor, which is very respectable, with a 375mm belt armor, with a above water citadel, and a 39% torpedo protection. Now, on paper, all these stats are really good, except for that extremely low HP pool, which makes this ship have a poor survivability. It is also fairly vulnerable to citadel hits when broadside, so do not show your broadside when on this ship. Moving on, let's talk about the main part of this ship, which are the main guns. Now, the main guns, you get 9 of them. With a 381mm guns, you get 9 of them. And 3 turrets, and you do get very poor fire angles to the rear, which is very unfortunate. When you're kiting, though, you do get some really good angles, but when you're pushing in, the angles will be really poor. So definitely be wary of that. You do get a 24-kilometer range, which is really long on this ship, with a 30-second reload, which is pretty average for the tier. Now, what is impressive is you get a 2.0 Sigma, which is really accurate for a Tier 9 battleship. Very impressed with that. You do get extremely fast shells, which are same as the Italians, with a 30-second turret diverse, which is pretty dang good. Now, you are able to overmatch 26mm, but definitely be careful when shooting at 27mm armor cruisers like the Des Moines or other US heavy cruisers and tier 10 cruisers as well. But the biggest thing for this ship is you do get access to a burst fire mode. Pretty much how this burst fire mode works is you have 2 salvos per burst with a 2 seconds in between the salvos. But during this burst fire, you deal 25% less damage per salvo. But even though that does happen, you do get a burst fire that deals 150% damage overall with all the shells. And it's about a 49-second cooldown in between it. It's about a 48-second cooldown in between there for the cooldown of that burst fire. Now, overall, I would say that it's very excellent for this burst fire. It's amazing. For these guns, you do get the improved accuracy, and the burst fire ability lets her hit much harder than what her stats suggest. What else is amazing is that you can use this burst fire when you're doing drive-bys. So even up against higher tier battleships like tier 10s or super ships, you can still deal a lot of damage with that burst fire. You can absolutely obliterate it. Now, this ship also has access to a reload booster. You get 2 of them, so you can use that reload booster, also reduce the reload in between your burst fires, which is amazing. So definitely take note of that if you do get this ship, that the burst fire is really good. You just have to be wary of course, the long reload in between. With the main batteries out of the way, let's talk about the secondary batteries. And I know everyone's excited about the new Pan American secondary line, but yeah, don't bother with secondaries on this ship at all. It is very minimum damage, and it is not worth investing in. It's better just to invest into the main guns and the concealment of the ship along with Brisk, and I'll be showing the build at the end of the video. The anti-air is also not very good. It won't protect you against any decent aircraft carrier player, so prepare to dodge and prepare for the fun and engagement. For ASW, you have the standard tier 9 battleship airstrikes, which is pretty good overall with the 10 kilometer range. So as long as you hit the submarine, you're going to do some damage. So good stuff, good stuff. Let's talk about this ship's maneuverability. You do have a top speed of 30 knots, which is surprisingly slow for the tier, which is really weird to say, but at tier 9, there seems to be a lot of fast battleships. But it's good enough overall. You do have a 810 meter turning radius, which is insane for a tier 9 battleship. You do have a 15.5 rudder shift time, which is also very good by battleship standards. So overall, I'd give this a 10 out of 10 on the solid maneuverability scale. So pretty damn good. For concealment, you have a godlike concealment with 11.7 kilometers for the best surface concealment range and an 8.7 kilometer range for aerial. This is better than a lot of the tier 9 and tier 10 cruisers. So this will allow you to sneak up, and if there's anything showing you broadside, you hit them with that double tap burst fire and the reload booster. Yeah, you're gonna be showing them a wailing of a time with that combo. So good luck to them on surviving. Now, the final stats we're going to be talking about is the consumables. You do have a standard 15-second damage control party with a standard repair party, and the biggest thing that we talked about earlier is that you have a main battery reload booster. Now, it makes it where it has a 30-second action time, and it reduces the reload by 33%. So instead of a 30-second reload, you get a 20-second reload. And it has a 300-second cooldown. Again, you only get 2 of these, so definitely use them wisely. A lot of the time, I would use them after doing a burst fire, so you're able to get your reload back quicker. Is usually whenever I would use it, but you guys can, use it whenever you like, of course. Now, one thing to talk about the guns, we didn't really talk about how good the AP damage or the HE damage is. Whenever I was using the AP, it was pretty consistent. But with the HE, I barely got any fires with the HE. So for this ship, you're mostly just going to be using AP for the 381s. But if you're fighting like super ships or tier 10 battleships and they're really far away, just spam HE to try to hope you get some fires. But overall, I had a really rough time trying to start fires with this ship. So hopefully you guys have a better chance with the fire chance. With this ship, no one expects the burst firing battleship to delete their broadside cruisers or battleships in one go. The immediate second salvo also gives you a second shot at punishing ships should the first salvo get RNG screwed. That being said, though, Wargaming knows burst firing 15-inch guns can be a bit OP, so they've nerfed the shell damage during burst fire mode to compensate. The shells still deal full damage when fired normally, but shells fired in burst fire mode will deal 25% less damage to compensate. You also get a reload penalty in burst fire mode, but your MBRB partially compensates for this. Normal fire is no slouch either, as the 2.0 Sigma and fast shells gives her guns great accuracy while being able to hit fast ships. And for all the fun in her guns, the Victoria is only held back by her poor survivability, essentially has a tier 8 BB survivability, fighting tier 10 ships, battleships, and super battleships with double her health can be very, 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 very painful. At least her armor scheme is solid, and she will bounce battleship AP shells when angled properly. So when you're kiting away is the best way to angle your ship. If you're trying to push in, you mostly just want to try using your front guns unless you're able to get away with showing your rear guns, because showing that much angle when firing your rear guns when pushing in, you're going to eat a lot of AP shells and it's going to hurt a lot. Of course, you are still a battleship and can take shots better than a battleship or a DD could. Just don't expect to last as long as a Russian battleship. Still, tanking is not her forte, so definitely use her amazing 11.7 kilometer concealment to get into strong positions where you can punish broadside ships with your guns. Now, overall, I'd say the Victoria is a very fun gun platforms that rewards good aim and positioning. You want to think of her more as a battle cruiser with accurate guns. You aren't the best at tanking shots, but you won't need to if you just burst fire the enemy target to death first. The Victoria can be obtained via the armory and premium shop as part of a bundle or by herself. I don't have the prices on me, but I'm just gonna do a rough guess that the ship itself is probably around 19,000 doubloons. Normally the normal amount, and with a bundle, it's probably around 25 or 30 something thousand doubloons. But you guys can just let me know in the comments, because by the time this video's up, the ship will already be in the armory or the premium shop, so you guys can let me know there. You also, if you love to gamble, you can also gamble her via the mystery banner drop, which includes the Karl and the Anhalt. So you can gamble your way to trying to get her if you would like. Now, as I said before, the build of the video is going to be right here, so you guys can take a look at the build that I used in this video. Pretty much I used Brisk because, again, this ship has great concealment. So you're going to want to build into Brisk, you want to build into your concealment, build into the guns, and pretty much just take the regular, typical tier 9 battleship modules and skills, pretty much. Nothing too out of the ordinary on this build for this ship. So pretty much overall, I think this is a really good tier 9 battleship to have. It can also be a really good battleship as well for the upcoming, well, actually as of right now, the tier 9, tier 10, and super ship operations are going on as well. They added those to the game at this point, so you guys can play tier 9, tier 10, and super ship operations to start farming credits in there. So this could also be a great credit farming ship in those areas, but a lot of people are replaying operations probably want secondary ships, so if you want more of a brawler in there, then this ship isn't going to be the ship for you. You probably want to look at more of the tier 9 Pan-American battleship. Now that's going to be a lot of fun in operations, same with the tier 10 as well in the operations as well. So if you're looking for more of those as your forte, you could, but again, tier 9 premium ships like this one do give you extra credit bonus, as well as giving you extra XP as well. So commander XP and free XP as well. So if you need a crew trainer of any kind, then this will definitely fit the bill for that. But anyway, that is going to be my review on the Victoria. If you guys have any questions or concerns, definitely let me know in the comments down below. But I hope you guys all enjoyed the video. I'll also be doing a review coming up on the Sevilla. Yes, I'll be doing a review on that coming up in a few days, so you guys can enjoy that. But hope you guys also enjoyed my casting of King of the Seas as well. I had a lot of fun casting that with Jack, Slayer, Iron Man, Incandescent. It was a lot of fun casting with them, and the internationals will be coming up in November, so I'll be casting those as well. But yep, I'll be talking to you guys later. If you have any questions, concerns, definitely let me know in the comments down below. I'll do my best to answer them, and I'll talk to you all later.